Okay, we are live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another session of the LSI. And today we're here to talk about awards, grants, and scholarship. And we time it 101 because we're going to be having another session after this. This is basically just to give us kind of an overview of what we are required to know or what we need to know. And I have one of my amazing LSI Youth Ambassadors here. Hi, Dayo. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dayo Kainde, and I just graduated civil engineering at Master University this
Yay!
April. And yeah, like Auntie said, we're here to discuss how you can tap into and leverage the scholarship opportunities that are available for us.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so super proud of you, baby. I am so proud of you. Thank you for making your parents, and I would affiliate with them for this. Your aunt's proud as well. Thank you so much for being an amazing ambassador. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for those that have joined us previously. Thank you for those that would watch this video later on. We're supposed to have Naomi in the house today, but unfortunately, she has another commitment, so she would not be joining us today. It's just going to be me and Dio mingling together today. And it's going to be a short live session because we're just going to be going through the overview of what you are required to know and what might be beneficiary to you in regards accessing grants, awards, and scholarship. Now, before we begin, to also put it out there that this is basically geared towards high schoolers that are looking to progress into university and colleges, and also for permanent residents and citizens of Canada. So some things that I will say today might not be applicable to you if you are an international student. And that doesn't mean that international students don't have access to grants and scholarship and awards as well. They do, but we haven't gotten to that extent that we can give you um, meaningful information in that regards. And also we know that some people are post graduate looking at postgraduate studies, masters, and the likes. We also we're not going to be talking about that today. We are kind of centered on high schoolers that are progressing to university and college. Okay, so we will start now, and I will start by asking Dio before I kind of go through a couple of research that I have done as a parent and as somebody that has an interest in things like this. Have you ever had an opportunity to get a scholarship grant or awards at any time during your process after you left college? Sorry, high school.
I actually applied for a lot of scholarships transition from high school to university. I unfortunately did not get any, but I did get an entrance scholarship that I didn't apply for when I was entering university, based off of my high school grades. And so, depending on whatever institution you're in or whatever program you're looking for, some universities do offer like a small little like incentive on like congratulating you to get in. So, depending on what grade bracket you're entering the university with, they will give you a certain amount of money.
Okay, so for that amount for that grant, was it a grant or was it an award or was it a scholarship?
They labeled it a scholarship, but the understanding I had was that it was just an award, like an entrance scholarship that they gave to people with, I think it was above between 90 and 94, and then there was one for above 95.
Okay, and that's your average, right?
Yeah, like high graduating average. Yeah.
Okay. So when you got into university, were you able to get any funding at any time as well?
I didn't look to getting any funding, but I know that McMaster specifically, they do have a portal where you can apply. You have one application, and then they give you things that you're eligible for. So I know a lot of schools do have that available.
Okay. So for me, like I said, I've done a lot of research in this regards, and I know that there are a lot of opportunities out there. There are a lot of money flowing around
Oh yeah.
at organizations, bodies, schools the government has just, put out there for people to take advantage of. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I also have found out that people from our community do not do a lot of good job in this regard, because I know that we're comfortable, we can afford to send our children to school and pay for tuition and books and upkeeps, but the truth is that this funding is there for us to take advantage of. It's there
Mhm.
for us to use. That is why it is there. And if other community are taking advantage of this and are benefiting from it, why not?
Us, yeah.
Why not? And that was what actually prompted me to begin to research, because my son is going to university next year. And I felt, oh, I know these things are out there. So what can I do? How can we
Mhm.
prepare him? Even though it's 1 year, we still have about 1 year to get ready. And I got to find out that there were tons, hundreds of different kind of scholarship awards and grants that they could take advantage of. And like I said earlier, for my research, I found out that there are basic requirements
Yeah.
that you have to have in order for you to be eligible for any of this, grants or scholarship or awards. And one thing that stood out for me was, for, like I said, there are
Mhm.
hundreds of them. One thing that stood out for me was, as much as they were that much, they kind of all had the same prerequisite. They all had a basic requirement
Right.
that would apply to almost all of them. Now, there's some that are specific to specific people, because I've seen um, scholarship and grants or awards that are specific to maybe people with disability,
Mhm.
people that have lost one parent or the other, people that have special needs and the like. So people that are from a particular community or ethnicity. But I have also seen that there's some that are just there and the
Yeah.
requirements are just same, right? And I also found out that there was no limit of the amount of awards and scholarship that you can apply for. The
Mhm.
fact that you get one from here doesn't mean that you cannot apply for another one, and you cannot apply for
Right.
a 10th one as well. And I also did notice that so they're kind of pockets of scholarship. You see some that are huge in amount, like
Mhm.
$10,000. You would also see some that are in the 2,000, in the 500s, in the 1,000. And in my head, I'm thinking, if I'm able to put all this together,
That's a
and
lot of
my
money.
able to, at least get maybe five, six, 10 of this,
Yeah.
it would save me a lot when it comes to, having to think of taking care of him financially when he gets to university. So
Right.
I'm going to run through the basics that I did find, and those are the basic requirements. And like I said, most of them would ask that you are a citizen or permanent resident, but there's some that would also ask for exception, that have exception, that would say, if you're an international student, please go ahead and apply. And just to quickly address that, I know that there are always exceptions to every rule. So sometimes, as a lawyer, I know that for sure. So when they say do not cross this pathway at 2 o'clock, if you look at the back of it, there could be something that says you're allowed to cross this pathway if you're able to, whatever it is. So the fact that a scholarship or an awards does indicate that you have to be a Canadian or permanent resident doesn't mean that you cannot give it a trial, because it might be a unique situation for you. Like, there's some people that they have applied for permanent residence,
Mhm.
it has been approved, but it hasn't been issued yet.
Yeah.
In situations like that, you can put in your application and do a letter of explanation and say that, yes, I do not have my permanent resident status yet, but I've been approved and I'm waiting for it to be issued. And this is a letter indicating that it has been approved. And you'll be shocked that you get a response saying that, yes, you are qualified to go ahead and apply for that scholarship. So that's one requirement that I've seen that cut across most of those scholarships. Another one is, like you have rightly stated, grades. So they take the grades very seriously. So for me, I would say to a parent, when your child gets into grade 9, grade 10, please begin to help them to cultivate an habit to have an excellent grade, because the minimum that I've seen so far, and this is very rare, is the 75% average. I saw a lot of I saw a few 75% average. It's a few, but majority of them would say 85%.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something else that I saw that kind of cut across most of this scholarships and awards out there. Another thing that I saw was they would usually request for a reference letter. Now, the reference letters most times would, or that requirement most times will state that they don't want a family member to write your reference. They don't want a friend to write your reference. So it has to be somebody that has seen you impact your community through your volunteering and the likes. And that would take us back to all of the previous sessions that we've had. And we've talked about the importance of being active within your community in every way that you can. That is always a no-brainer. It is always there as a requirement. You have to have a letter of recommendation from a community member that is able to attest to how you have been able to impact your community. And just to quickly, kind of relate that to a life experience. Sometimes early this year, I did apply. I just saw it on Instagram, right? That there was an award that was put out there, and I looked at it. It was for a particular grade, and I looked at all the requirement, and I felt, oh, my daughter should be qualified for this award. So I spoke to somebody that knew her within the community, and I said, oh, I saw this award. Can you kind of apply for my daughter? And she did. And going back to having letter of recommendation, right? Because she was kind of doing these things and she was having fun doing them. The teacher was able to write a letter of recommendation. You needed to see what the teacher wrote. Even me, I didn't know that she was that involved in school, right? My church was able to write a letter of recommendation for her. A couple of organizations she had volunteered with, at that time she was just 12, was able to also write on our behalf. Right? So having your child get involved within the community, we cannot overemphasize that aspect, right? And also another thing that I found out was also, and this was kind of, it didn't apply for all of them, was having to write an essay. So some organization will give you a topic and ask you to write on that topic. Some would say, oh, we need 1,000 words. Some would say 750 words, write about this topic. Some would allow you to choose a topic by yourself. And like I said, and this is where we'll be asking, like I said, we'll be having another session where we'll be having a professional coming to talk to you about how to write essays, how to write letter of intent, how to, begin to put your portfolio together in regards grants, scholarship and awards. Because the truth is, there's a period when these applications all begin to come out. They all come out at about the same time, and that is May, June.
Yeah.
That is something that I have noticed. You see a lot of applications come out April, May, June, right? For that school year that is resuming in September.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you have an intention to apply for 10, 15, 20 scholarship and grants, it will be difficult for you to be able to complete essays, letters of intent, and all that for all this at once, because of course you have other things that you're doing at the same time. So this is the reason why you would need kind of begin to put your portfolio together before it gets to the time, right? And all you need to do is probably tweak one or two things, take out some things, add some things when you want to apply for a particular one, because you already have kind of a precedent or a prototype that you would normally use for things like that. Yeah. Right? Now, talking of letter of intent, It is important that you begin to also incorporate this into your children's um, daily life. Like at grade 9, at grade 10, let them begin to, just give it to them and say, do a letter of intent. Like for my daughter, when she came, because she had to write a letter of intent herself at 12. And she came and said, well, Mom, what's the letter of intent? What am I supposed to write? And I'm like, okay, let's Google it. So we did. So tell me about yourself. Tell me why you were qualified for this award. Why should we give it to you? Why should we consider you? So you're talking about yourself. You're talking about the things that you have done within the community, how you've helped people, how you've contributed in every little way that you can. So talk about it. And she was able to write the letter. And when I saw the letter, I was like, oh my God, really? You wrote this? I had to kind of screenshot, and I kept it for, future purposes. And that is how you begin to help them incorporate it into their life. Now that she has done one before, we have it saved. By the time she begins to now apply for the bigger ones, all she needs to do is build on that letter of intent that she had written previously, and probably make it better. Probably add more things that she had now begin to do that she wasn't doing at that time.
Yeah.
Right? So it is important that we begin to teach our children to cultivate the habit of writing, because the more you do it, the more less difficult it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we first arrived in Canada, I there was something I used to do with the kids then. So every time we're sitting down and we're watching TV, we're watching the news, and they just say something about something, they say anything kind of profound to me. I just tell them, I pause and I say, write that down, do research, a PowerPoint, and come and do your presentation. I'll give them 2 weeks. So they go away with that topic and they do their research. Then they come in with, doing the PowerPoint presentation, and we put it on the TV. We allow each person present. They tell me, everything that they've researched about that topic and all that. And it did help them. I
Wow.
remember then when we came in, I was like, okay, these guys, they don't know anything about Canada. So the first, set of topics they dealt about were, okay, go and do research about how many provinces we have, what are unique to each provinces, the flags, everything that you can find out about the province. And they did an excellent, work. And later on, I think I can't remember if it was my son or my daughter, they had to do a project on the provinces, and she was like, already I've done this before at home.
Wow.
All they went to do was just to dig that presentation out, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of helpful. And those are the things that helps, those building those skills in them. Let them begin to write early. You don't
Mm.
wait when you actually need those writings before you begin to put them together, because it can be overwhelming. It's unfortunate. I wanted us to have a parent join us today. I know her personally. Our son got a full scholarship for a medical college, or medical science or something in the US, and is a full scholarship for the whole 5 years or six
Wow.
years, right? And when she was sharing this testimony with me, she was telling me how much they put into writing of
Mm-hmm.
says and letter of intent, that it was intense, it was overwhelming, but they kept, because they had to do various applications to various schools, and each schools had different things they were asking
Yeah.
for. So they kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. But and one thing I took away from our conversation was, but we don't wait till the last minute. If you want to take advantage of these things, don't wait till the last minute. Get to it now. Your son is still in grade 11, so you have enough time. Start doing your research as a parent. I know sometimes you might think it's a lot, it's overwhelming. I don't have time, I have the money, but please, there's nothing stopping us from using our money to go to Santorini and Bahamas and the Maldives and all that, right? So take advantage of this opportunity. They are all out there.
Right.
It's just that it's going to take time, and that's the truth. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take extra time. It's going to take you doing your research, but it can be easier if you start early. That's what we are trying to say. And like we said earlier, we're going to be having um, we're going to be having an expert, a professional that deals with writing, that deals with how to put essays together, topics that might, averagely be asked for. So your child begins to prepare, to write those topics. They would review for you. They would do some pointers for the child. Okay, this is what you should concentrate on. This is how you should write your essay. The truth is, some people would go and talk to, there are a lot of grant and scholarship writing organization out there, but the truth is they would not write it for you.
Mm-hmm.
They would never write these essays for you, right? They would ask you to write it, and they would read through it. They would kind of do an overview. They would do corrections, but they would not write this essays for you. So the minute you get that, the better for you. So begin to kind of make your kids get used to the habits of writing. Just get some topics out there for them and tell them, you know what, do a 500 pages. You can even start with 250 words. Let's see what you can come up with. Do a 500 words. Let's see what you can come up with. And like I said, most of this organization, they're looking for youths that are involved within their community. Like they want to see you be a member
Right.
of a particular initiative. They want to also see your leadership skills, right? So have you led any initiative? They also want to see your initiative skills as well. Have you been able to kind of establish, find an organization? Are you a founder of, an idea and all that? These are the things that they're looking out for aside from grades. So, as parents, please, it is important that you begin to start early with your children if it's something that you're interested in. Having to do last minute most times for things like this does not cut it. I don't believe so. So, like I said, we'll be having another session where we'll be talking about award grants and scholarship 102, and that's where we'll be having the professional coming to discuss everything that we would need to put together in terms of preparing your child now. But as a parent, I'm sure that based on this information session that we've just had, this general overview, you kind of now have an idea the things that you begin to work on to help your children build that portfolio as they plan to apply for this incentives out there. And please don't wait till last minute. That's something I would say. Don't wait till last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what we want to apply for and begin to work towards it. What are the requirements? Begin to put it together. We're currently working on having to compile an awards and scholarship. How do I call it now? It's going to be kind of a brochure where you have a couple of awards, scholarship, and grants that are out there. Like I said, it's a lot, so we're still putting it together. But as soon as we're able to put that document together, we would circulate it so that people can begin to, you don't wait on anybody, that. So what we're trying to do is we'll give you a link to that awards or scholarship. We give you kind of an estimate of when they usually would, start the application, when usually the application would close, right? And those people that are eligible for the awards, scholarship, grants, and also the organization that is providing this opportunity. So we're trying to put this document together as soon as we're done. I'm not sure how we're going to go about it, but we would send it out by email. So maybe at that time, we'll be asking people to provide their email information and we'll send it out to everybody. So I don't know, Dayo, if you have anything to add or probably to, encourage those out there to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, like Andy said, the most important thing is not waiting till the last minute, because I remember in my own experience when I was applying, I did have a bunch of them I was applying for, and I realized that, like there was not enough time to put in as much effort as I would have liked to if I had started early. Another thing is a lot of these applications rely on you, again, providing a letter of recommendation, and then that's you going to somebody and asking them to, take their time out of their day also to write something out for you. So it's not going to be done in like a day or two. You might have to give them a week. You might have to give them 2 weeks. And you also have to sometimes provide transcripts, and then going through your school would take a while too. So give yourself enough time. Give yourself like 2-3 weeks before the due date, so you can gather all your required documents, gather all the letters of recommendation, and then also have time to actually, do your essay, do your application, get that in on time. Another thing I would say is to actually develop good relationships with the people you're asking for letters of recommendation, so they can easily, give you something that is really good. So that would be like mentors, teachers, people who have seen you, like Auntie said, actually be active in the community.
Thank you so much, Daya, because we actually talked about this while you were away. We're talking about having to, I can't remember the actual topic, but I know that we did mention there was a lot about, having a relationship with your guiding counselor and your teachers. Okay, it was now that I'm in high school, what next? Because these are the people that you would reach out to kind of help you write letter of reference and the likes. And someone also mentioned that if you have a good relationship with them, they're also able to push out all those opportunities to you.
Right.
Like when they get, all this information that has to do with awards, grants, scholarship, the first person that comes to mind is the person that they have a relationship with and the person that they see. Because most of the school, you have thousands of students, right? And you have maybe 1-2 guidance counselor. And you can't expect 2 people to be able to kind of master everybody over 1,000 students. But if you are that student that is active, that is always there, that's doing what needs to be done, it's very quick for the guidance counselor to identify, oh, Daya would be a good fit for this, and they push that opportunity out to you. So it puts us back, like it's like a pyramid, right? It keeps going round and round the circle. So please make sure that you prepare beforehand. The fact that your child is in grade 9 or grade 10 doesn't mean that you have, forever. And you're thinking, oh, I still have time. We'll do it when the child is in grade 11. No, the grade 12. Maybe is a year. We have no. Remember that as the child grows into the next level of class, the workload becomes more. The workload becomes more. Now you're thinking of, oh, the child has to volunteer, he has to make volunteer hours, this child is doing this. So you won't have enough time to begin to put all these things together. So the earlier you get to it, the better.
The better. And the more you're able to knock out and keep applying for. Yeah.
Yes. And it also shows, the more you're able to apply for, the likelihood of how much you would get.
Oh, yeah.
Because the truth is that if you apply for 5, let's assume you apply for 10, 20 scholarship, it doesn't mean you're going to get the 10, 20. Yeah. It might just be maybe 5 or 4 out of, because the way you're applying, thousands of people are also applying. So it's a game of, sometimes luck, sometimes blessings, right? So the more you're able to do, the better for you. And that's the reason why you cannot afford to slack things like this. So basically, that's all we have to talk about today. I hope that it is helpful to whoever is able to, listen to it later on, or you're listening to us right now. We will be having another session that would be expanding on what are the requirements when it comes to writing your letter of intent, your essays, likely topics that might come through when you're applying for this grants or awards or scholarship. Thank you, everyone that has been able to join us today. And for those that will listen later, please continue to follow and like. Thank you, Dayo, for joining us, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day, everyone, and do take care. Bye for now.